So I come across this image here, PFT requirements and standards. It's the physical fitness expectations for Homeland Security investigations and ICE. And I thought it was super fascinating. So I look into it. I want to find out what they actually are. On the left, you'll see ICE agents with balaclavas on, I think is what it's called, covering their faces because they know what they're doing is illegal and they don't want to be charged when Trump dies, I imagine. ICE agents at Seattle courthouse arrest people whose deportation hearings are dismissed. Anyway, so I find this video, this Homeland Security training video, and it's so ridiculous that I wasn't sure if it was real. I'm pretty sure this is real. I had to remove music from it, but yeah, give this a listen. This is the training video for people who want to join ICE or Homeland Security investigations. Basically, fulfilling the same role right now.
Video. Serving as a HSI agent is a physically demanding job. HSI special agents are often placed in situations that are tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving, making great demands on their physical abilities. Physical fitness is often the factor that can mean the difference between success, failure, and even life and death. The HSI physical fitness standard ensures that candidates are qualified to perform the duties of a special agent safely, effectively, and efficiently without undue risk, hazard, or liability to themselves or the agency.
Do you hear that? I'm pretty confident it's real. Did you catch what they just said one more time?
Effectively and efficiently without undue risk, hazard, or liability to themselves or the agency.
Not a hazard or a liability to the community they serve, the people around them, but a liability to themselves or the agency. They're not serving the American people anymore, is the point. And I think that's pretty clear now, right? I have to wonder if this is real. I mean, I don't understand how this could possibly be real, but I'm very confident that it is. It's wild.
All special agent selectees are required to pass a pre-employment HSI physical fitness test, also known as the PFT, and having a valid passing score no more than 90 days old prior to attending the HSI basic training program at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center.
Honestly, they probably had to release this video because a lot of gravy seals, if you will, a lot of Al-Qaeda members were trying to apply to be ICE agents, and they told them that they have to weigh less than 350 pounds. I'm assuming that's what this is about. But MAGA nutcases are absolutely joining ICE right now. Trump is explicitly, they expanded funding for ICE to hire, I think, 20,000 new agents or something. Who the f*** do you think is joining ICE right now? It is obviously MAGA nutcases that want to take revenge on their political enemies. Anyway, here are the requirements. Sit-ups, 32 sit-ups in 1 minute or less. I don't think the gravy seals would be capable of just that alone. I don't know that I would, truthfully. I don't know. I haven't tried. Push-ups, 22 push-ups in 1 minute or less. Sprint, 220-yard sprint in 47.73 seconds or less. That's oddly specific. What if I hit 47.74? Run, 1.5-mile run in 14 minutes, 25 seconds or less. Selectees must meet or exceed each event's minimum standards. These events assess muscular strength and endurance, anaerobic and aerobic power, and cardiovascular endurance. Events must be performed correctly and in sequence with no more than 5 minutes between each exercise. Failing to attain the designated minimum standard for any of the PFT events constitutes failing the entire PFT. Point is, you got to be in shape. You can't be 60 years old and you don't qualify just for having a Trump flag on the back of your stupid fucking Jeep. Although I have to imagine that your chances of getting it are a lot higher if that's the case. I mean, ICE is effectively a terrorist group at this point, and I don't say that lightly. I say that being 100% real. ICE is going just to a work site. This guy that ICE is about to arrest is a U.S. citizen. He's just an American.
Hey.
They're grabbing the dude.
It's illegal. No, yeah, dude. He's not even doing nothing wrong. It takes what the? He's a citizen, bro.
Oh, if you're a citizen,
He's
that,
a citizen.
if you're a citizen, they think
Yeah,
you
he's
do.
saying I'm a citizen.
I hope he got his on him.
The point is that it's no longer like the bar to search somebody, to detain somebody, to throw them in prison or whatever is no longer be undocumented, and it is now be brown. Would be a darker skin tone than, you know, I don't know, whatever, than toothpaste or something. When you enter this kind of territory as a country, you're in bad shape. This is not good. ICE raided an Alabama construction site and violently dragged a U.S. citizen from his workplace. He was detained, then released hours later. Venegas told Telemundo that when he returned to the construction site after being released hours later, ICE had detained several other workers. Telemundo, I believe, is like a news network in Mexico. Is that right? This included his 34-year-old brother, who is allegedly in the country illegally, according to the Latin Times. But Venegas says he was born in Florida. He told Telemundo when he tried to record the incident, the agents knocked his phone out of his hand. When he told the agents to review his citizenship documents, Venegas said they didn't believe him. They took out my wallet, took out my ID, he said in an interview with an outlet, and they told me it was fake, said it wasn't valid, and that it was fake. My ID. They handcuffed me, and they handcuffed me really tight. Oh, they always do, of course. That is not good. Venegas would not be the first citizen mistakenly deported as ICE officers worked to fulfill Trump's promise to enact the biggest deportation effort in American history. In April, ICE refused to release a Georgia man detained during a traffic stop even after his birth certificate was presented to a judge. They're saying a man. I believe in the most technical sense it was a man, but really it was a boy. He was like 18, I think. He was still in high school as far as I know. I'm not sure. But he was a kid, and they held him for 10 days. It's sad that having the color of our skin has become a crime, a deserved crime to treat us as if we're true criminals, Venegas' cousin told Telemundo this week. There is no public data on the number of U.S. immigration and customs enforcement arrests in the state since Trump took office, but Baldwin County Sheriff Anthony Lowry has been outspoken in his interest in tackling illegal immigration and assisting ICE's efforts. His office declined a previous request for comment from AL.com. Just disgusting, man. You know, Tim Walz rightly called them out, ICE that is, as being basically like the Gestapo. This is identical to the Gestapo. Do you know who they were detaining and deporting in Germany? It was immigrants. They called Jews immigrants at the time. There were even bits of, his speeches where Hitler talks about the aliens in Germany, how they don't belong here and everything else. It was immigrants. Now, Jews had lived there for hundreds of years, so they weren't really immigrants, but he was calling them that to make the point that they don't belong there. And that is the point that Trump is making. They don't belong here. Tim Walz calls ICE the Gestapo accurately. They are identical to how the Gestapo operated at certain points in history. Homeland Security responds to Tim Walz saying that it is absolutely sickening to compare ICE law enforcement agents to the Gestapo. You don't like the comparison, then don't do it. This article is written on DHS.gov. This is their response to Tim Walz saying that. You know it's going to be propagandistic trash. While politicians like Governor Walz fight to protect criminal illegal aliens, ICE officers will continue risking their lives to arrest murderers, kidnappers, and pedophiles. But they're not. They're not. We just saw one simple, straightforward example of them arresting a U.S. citizen. Didn't do to anybody. We have examples of people being arrested and sent to a concentration camp in El Salvador by mistake and not being able to bring them back. They can bring them back. They're choosing not to bring them back. It's truly evil. These are Gestapo tactics. Washington, following Governor Tim Walz's sickening rhetoric calling immigration customs enforcement calling ICE agents Trump's modern-day Gestapo, The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, is setting the facts straight on the bravery of our ICE enforcement agents. Every day, they risk their lives to arrest vicious, criminal, illegal aliens led into our country by the previous administration. No. No to all of that. That is completely fictitious. And it's disgusting. Like, really f***ing disgusting. Governor Walz's comments comparing ICE agents to the Gestapo is sickening. This type of rhetoric and demonization of ICE officers has led to our officers facing a 413% increase in assaults, said Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Well, I don't know about assaults, but I think they should absolutely face legal consequences for what they're doing, without a doubt, obviously. And they should also not be allowed to wear masks. Why are they suddenly all about masks? Just a few years ago, weren't they talking about how masks are stupid and you're like a brainwashed drone for wearing them? They suddenly love masks. How about that? Trump says no masks if you're going to protests. They're against the law to wear masks. But ICE agents wear them all the time. Why? While politicians like Walz fight to protect criminal illegal aliens, that is not what he's doing, but whatever. Our ICE officers will continue putting their lives and safety on the line to arrest murderers, kidnappers, and pedophiles that were let into our country by the previous administration's open border policies. It's just delusion. Complete delusion. Below are just a few examples of violent criminal aliens. Yeah, now they're gonna go through a big list of evil people. Yeah, totally. I'm sure. I'm sure that these are all 100% evil criminal aliens and not just random people that you pulled. Or not the worst of the worst or whatever. I'm sure this is a fair representation of the people you're sending away. Didn't they deport a, what was it, like a 4-year-old U.S. citizen who has cancer? Is that right? They are deporting people indiscriminately is the problem. Absolutely disgusting. And about as disturbing as it gets. Immigrants are going to their immigration hearings. And while they're in there, ICE lines up in the hallway and arrests them as they come out. Whether it's dismissed or anything is irrelevant. They're pulling them and arresting them anyway. Even when the judge decides to let them stay. It's just vile. Just vile and evil and wrong. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments.